All right, word. Guys, how we doing? Welcome back to Hindsight is 2020. This is the second video. I'm doing a preview of the second quad of the Australian Open for the Women's Tennis Association. I'm going to go through seats 33 to 64. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just going to get after it. Let's see here. We got Coco Gauff. She's taking on Sofia Kenin. Coco Gauff, she leads the head-to-head 2-0. 2 out of their 3 matches have gone 3 sets, and the over has cashed in all 3 of them. I believe that here today is 17.5 again. If you can get that number, I would probably still play on this over. Sofia Kenin, she's coming off a really disappointing performance in her previous match against Maya Joint. She got worked. Like, she got beat like she stole something. But I think more she just lost her serve in her first service game the first time around, and then after that she just kind of gave up on the match. But I will say though, 2 out of 3 of Coco and Sofia Kenin's matches have gone over the total. Actually, no, all 3 of them have gone over the total. 2 out of 3 have gone 3 sets. And also, ever since Sofia Kenin won in 2020, which is also kind of strange, but that was just a weird year. Just, the U.S. Open winner, Emma Raducanu, that was also just a strange winner. Anyways, ever since then, she's lost in the second round the year after that, and then lost in the first round, lost in the first round, lost in the first round. But in all 3 of those matches, there was a tiebreaker in all 3 of those matches, and also the over did cash in all 3 of those matches. In her matches against Coco, there's been a tiebreaker in one of those, and it was at the Australian Open in 2020 when Coco actually lost to Kenin. She bageled her in the third set in round 16 on her way to win that Australian Open, which was 5 years ago, which is insane to even think about. But as far as Coco goes, she's only dropped 1 set at the Australian Open last year, and that was against Marta Kostyuk. Outside of that, in all her matches, she hasn't dropped a set. I want to take that over. Maybe it goes, we get a tiebreaker, set 7-6, 6-3, something like that. But, outside of that 2020 year where she was, 15 years old, outside of that match, she's played, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 matches Australian Open. She's only dropped 1 set. And that was in a tiebreaker to Kostyuk. So I never want to have my money on Kenin. Every time I watch her matches, I get anxious because I can feel her anxiety through my screen. But I would say straightforward 2-0 for Coco. Kenin's last 3 matches at the Australian Open, they have gone over the total, but they have also ended in straight sets. I expect Coco to have another straight sets victory. 1.2 for her to win 2-0. I don't like that price, but I think she's going to win in straight sets. Next match, Leolia Jean. She's taking on Jody Barrage from the United Kingdom. Jody Barrage, she won their previous matchup against her 4 years ago. Jean though is coming off of the Australian Open qualifiers. She dropped a set in 2 out of 3 of those matches. Barrage, she's coming off 2 losses in a row. It's an interesting matchup because I think Barrage is a better server. But Jean, she plays a lot of slices. Barrage likes to stay on the baseline. And honestly, I just wouldn't bet on this match because, I don't trust French tennis players. And I don't trust tennis players from the United Kingdom unless they're playing on grass. So I wouldn't bet on this match, but gun to my head, if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Jody, just because I think it'll be an over match. But actually, I don't know. You see, it's tough. That's why I said I wouldn't bet on the match. It's like, I don't like fading players in the first round who play in qualifiers. But Jean's such an inconsistent player. She dropped a set in 2 out of those 3 qualifier matches. And, Jody's coming off of 2 losses. Before that, she'd won 6 matches in a row. So she's going to be a little bit more motivated. So if I just go gun to my head, I would probably go Jody just because I feel like she's more motivated coming off those losses. And she's already beat her before. but obviously different circumstances and also 4 years later. Next match we have on here. Let's take a look at how they actually did. Jin Jin, after playing through qualifiers in 2023, lost in the first round in straights. Same thing happened to her last year. Went through qualifiers, lost in the first round in straights. So, Jody Barrage last year, she lost, but she lost in 3 sets. So, and every match she's actually played at the Australian Open has been in 3 sets. So, wouldn't mind taking the over there. Two unreliable players. Let's move on. Next year, we got Cristina Bucska out of Spain. She's taking on Chloe Paquette out of France. Another similar situation. This is going to be first time main draw for Chloe Paquette. She has Bucska has a 2-1 head-to-head over her. All 3 of their matches have gone over. This is going to be their first time playing on hard court. I think that Bucska, she's coming off of 3 losses in a row. I think she played pretty well against Siniakova. She just kind of fell apart in the later stages of the first set. I think she just lost a little bit of her confidence because Siniakova was playing insane. So, and that happens sometimes. Paquette, on the other hand, she's coming off of 5 losses in a row. She's lost all of them in straight sets. I just don't think she's that impressive of a player, in my opinion. Just lifetime on hard court. She's 109 wins, 108 losses. So she's a pretty even player. Last year on hard court, she went 5-11. The year before that, 4-7. She's more of a predominantly clay player. Same with Bucska. Last year, 14-18. Hard court, 17-15. The year before that, also a predominantly clay player. So match like that, I wouldn't bet on this match. I mean, Bucska should win, but who knows? I'd say it probably goes 3 sets again, just because they're both coming in, so they haven't had match time on this court, and since they're both not necessarily reliable on serve, I'd probably say that it goes 3 sets. But in Bucska's, if you want to back Bucska, all of her first round matches here at the Australian Open, it's been in straight sets. So, and for Chloe Paquette, her main draw debut, but all of her qualification matches here, the last 3 years, straight sets, and year before that, she lost in 3 sets. So it's tough here. I wouldn't bet this match, but I mean, her last 5 matches, she lost in straight sets. So I think Bucska's going to be motivated. I don't think she's going to lose to her. So probably Bucska in straights. Who knows? Wouldn't bet this match. Next match, Yulia Shararodubtseva. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. She's fighting out of the Ukraine. She's not fighting. She's playing out of the Ukraine. She's taking on Leylah Fernandez. Yulia has lost 5 matches in a row. She retired in her last match against Christian. I believe that was a back issue for her. Last year in the Australian Open, she went through qualifiers and she lost to Ons Jabeur in straight sets. I think she's going to sit. It was her right ankle, not her back. I think she's going to face the same fate here. I think she's going to face the same results here to Leylah Fernandez. I mean, Leylah, all of her matches at the Australian Open so far in her career, wins and losses, they've all ended in straight sets. So I think that's the way that this match is going to go. Not sure what the price is here for Leylah, 1.1. Yeah, don't really want to put that in a parlay piece. But, I mean, Yulia, all her matches here ended in straight sets. Leylah, every single match in the 5 years she's played the Australian Open, wins or losses, they've all ended in straight sets. So I think that's going to be the result for that match. Next match, Karolina Mukova out of the Czech Republic. Love watching Karolina play. She's taking on Nadia Podoroska out of Argentina. Nadia, she's 27. She's predominantly a clay player, in my opinion. Over 400 matches on clay, just a little bit over 150 on hard court. She's interesting because, in 2 of her matches, they have a split head-to-head. In 2 of the matches, Podoroska has taken a set off of Mukova. And one of those was here actually at the Australian Open. I'm sorry, misreading. I was Kluchkova. But yeah, all of her matches outside of the very first one that she played here at Australian Open, they've all ended in straight sets. I don't think Mukova is going to drop a set to her. Mukova here, I'm just taking a look at some things here. Yeah, she lost to Collins in the second round in tiebreaker 2 years ago because she was injured last year. That's why she didn't play her. I don't think she's going to be fucking around here. I think she's going to come in here. It's going to be 2-0. What are the odds? 1.0. Yeah, wouldn't add her in a parlay or anything, but, I'm going to pick her to move on in the next round of this tournament. Next, we have Naomi Osaka. She's taking on Caroline Garcia again for the third time at the Australian Open. She leads the head-to-head 4-1. This line's kind of wide because every single time they played before, she's been a pick'em. The match has been a pick'em, and now Naomi's laying. She's a 1.2 favorite, which before she got injured last week. I would have said that this has been a fair price, but I think that the price should be a pick'em. But probably the reason it's not is because Garcia hasn't played since September. She hasn't played a match since September. And Naomi's injury looked pretty bad. So, like, who's to say how she's going to come out and play in this match? I mean, obviously, you know who Naomi Osaka is, two-time Australian Open winner. She obviously hasn't won it in a while, but when she won it in 2021. After that, she lost in the third round. But all of her first round matches that they end in straight sets. So outside of 2017, every single first round match she's played at the Australian Open is ended in straight sets, and I'm gonna assume that she's healthy, especially because Caroline Garcia hasn't played a match since September, and she's not very. I think she's also coming on in the later half of her career, and she's not necessarily always her best, but I think she serves well enough. I want to say she serves well enough, but she hasn't played in a while, so I can't really say that. But if Naomi shows up healthy, I think Naomi wins in straights. I think it's going to be 2-0, and that's going to be that. Next match, we have Veronica Urjavec. Probably saying that wrong. But she's finally made it to the main draw of the Australian Open after working her ass off last year. She's around 171st in the world now. Last year she lost in qualifiers to Ava Lees out of Germany. This year she's taking on Susan Lemens, who also making her main draw debut. I believe she is Veronica has played through qualifiers. Veronica played through qualifiers. She's, been unreal through qualifiers. I'm not really sure why she's an underdog here. Susan Lemens, yes, beat her before at the Billie Jean Cup a couple months ago, but the score is a little bit misleading because that was a pretty competitive match. And then I feel like Veronica gave up at the end of that match last year. These are two young players. I would like to think that this match is going to go over. If I had to pick, I would just have to side with the player who's already been here, who's gone through qualifiers. I expect her to put up a good performance. Then again, I could be wrong. I could also see her winning a set and also losing in 3 sets again. As it'll take both of them a little bit of time to get in their rhythm. They're both really young. So I'd probably say this match goes 3 sets. I wouldn't bet it. It's really hard to tell what form Susan Lemens is going to be in. She hasn't played since Billie Jean Cup. Next match, we have Belinda Bencic. She's taking on Jelena Ostapenko, which I think is going to be an unreal match. They have a 1-1 head-to-head. Their first match, 2018 in Indian Wells, went 3 sets, and their last match at the 2020 Australian Open went 7-5, 7-5. So the over has hit in both times that they've played. Obviously, both big servers. Jelena Ostapenko has not been playing well. She's lost 8 out of her last 10 matches dating back to last year. Obviously, Belinda, she's coming back. She just had a baby a few months ago, so she's still playing herself into form. She's won 7 out of her last 10 matches. Um, she lost in the Angers final at the end of last year to Alicia Parks 2-1. Lost to Paolini, nothing to be ashamed of that. Lost to Samsonova in 3 sets, nothing to be ashamed of that. Samsonova led the head-to-head, and every match they'd played, she lost to her in 3 sets. So um, there's that. I don't know what's up with Ostapenko. I don't know what's up with her. She needs to get it together. She's not really been playing well like the last 3 months, if we're being completely honest. But I'm gonna have to go Belinda here. I'm just gonna have to trust she's gonna be professional and do what she does. Ostapenko, when she's lost in the first round here, let's see here. They've all been in 3 sets when she's lost in the first round. But I just feel like Belinda, she's playing so well right now. Before that Samsonova match, she hadn't dropped a set. She literally hadn't dropped a set since she lost to. If you take away the Paolini match and Parks match, she hasn't lost a set in any of her wins. In any of her last 8 wins, she hasn't dropped a set. So I think it's going to be 2-0 here again today. If she fucks around, she's going to get sent to the gulag. I'm sorry. I do love Jelena, though. She's awesome. Next match. Paula Badosa. She's coming out for loss. Paula Badosa. She's taking on Jinyu Wang out of China. Paula Badosa's come off few tough losses. Start of the year, she dropped a set in all 3 losses. Lost to Avanesian. I think she just lost her serve there. And then Peyton Stearns, just a bad matchup for her because Peyton Stearns, I think, is more athletic than Paul Badosa is. And same with Ashton Kruger. And Kruger was serving really well in Adelaide. And she ended up losing that match. As far as Wang goes, I just don't think that she's particularly strong on serve. Her matches are coming against Tatiana Maria and Rakimova, who are not strong on serve, just like her. But she makes better decisions than both of those players. And also, she's younger than Tatiana Maria, who's taking on Bernarda Pera. So she's younger than her. So she just makes better decisions. She just makes better decisions than them. So that's why she won those matches. Outside of that, you look at everyone else that she's faced who's a better server than her. Kudermetova, Mukova, Kenin, Zhang. She's lost all those matches because they're just better servers. And I don't know what it is. She just doesn't have any power behind her shots, in my opinion. I think that Badosa, she's a 1.3 favorite. I think she should win this match. I don't see how she loses it unless she loses focus. The majority of Wang's matches here, they've ended in straight sets. I think Badosa's got to win in straights because if she drops a set, then I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm gonna go Badosa for my pick. I'm gonna move on to the next match. Zainep Sonmez. Loves Zainep. She plays with so much intensity and ferociousness every time she's on court. Love that about her. But she is a little bit hit or miss because she's a very aggressive player. So sometimes when you're being too aggressive, that comes back to hurt you. She's taking on Talia Gibson. She's Australian. I don't like a hard rule that I'm gonna follow this year when I'm wagering on tennis is that whenever a player is playing in their home country, we cannot fade them. I don't know what it is that always ends up in the water. And then I don't know what it is that always ends up in the water. But they just start going crazy. I don't really know what it is. Okay. But Zainep, she's coming out. She's won 8 out of her last 10 matches. Last loss to Anna Bondar in Hobart, which Anna was playing out of her mind. So that's not a bad loss to have on your record. As far as Talia Gibson, she's coming off of 3 losses in a row. I think that she can be a good player in the future. I just don't think that she's fully there yet. She's a little bit young, but she does play a very aggressive game. She did lose. She lost. She's lost all of the matches she's played. The Australian Open have gone 3 sets. So that's one thing for Sonmez to be aware of, especially because 2 of her 3 matches at the Australian Open, they've also gone 3 sets. So I would say safer play here is the over on this match. I don't want to bet against a player who's playing in their home country. And also, with just seeing the numbers and seeing how many of their matches have gone 3 sets, I think it would be the better play for you guys to take the over. Next match, we have Jewel Naimir out of Germany, and she's taking on She's taking on Maya Trwalinska out of Poland. She's 23 years old. She's a lefty. I love her game. I think I was on the fence earlier when I was thinking about this match, but I think that Jules is going to struggle with the way that Maya plays because she's a lefty. Jules, you take a look here. She's 0-4 her last year against left-handed players. 4-8 in her career on hard court against left-handed players. And Maya, she's already played through 3 qualifier matches, so I think she's already going to have her feet wet there. The only issue is that Jules does have a good serve. She's a big server, big body bends, But, last year at the Australian Open, both her matches, they went, 3 sets. The year before that against Iga, she lost, but she lost 6-4, 7-5. So the over hit there again. So I would probably lean towards the over here. The last time they played, she did beat Jules in 2023 on hard court. That match went 3 sets. And with this 1.5, 2.5 line, I would probably say that the match is going to go 3 sets, especially with 2 out of Maya's 3 matches that she played on qualifiers. Those also went 3 sets. So I'd probably say safer play for, maybe not safer because nothing's safe, but more consistent result I would probably say is that I would say that this match ends up going over the total. I would probably go with that rather than trying to pick a winner. But for my bracket purposes, I will pick Maya because I don't really trust Jewel. I think she struggles, especially in matches where it gets really hot. I think she struggles in those climates. And I'm just going to go with the player who's already been through qualifiers, got the feet wet. She's favored already, so I think we're going to go with that. Next match, we have now Hibino. She's taking on Martha Kostyuk out of the Ukraine. Now, Martha, this is an interesting match because Martha has all the tools. She has all the power. She has the skills. But she's looked like shit. I mean, let's be honest. Since Wuhan, she's just not looked good. This is going to be her 3rd match since September. 3rd match since September. Okay. Now Hibino, on the other hand, what? She's already played 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's played. Now Hibino has already played 7 matches this year. She's 6-1 already this year. While she is 1-2 against Martha, both of those matches ended 7-6, 6-3, 7-5, 6-3. Okay? And in both of them, went back and checked. She was up a break in both those matches. Martha just served better in the end because she just has the physical tools and the ability to do that. I wouldn't bet on this match. I would honestly take the over, first set over, because I wouldn't be surprised if Hibino won this match. I could also see her taking a set and losing. It's just Martha just looks so bad. She lost against Juan, lost against Kruger. She just gave up in that one after Kruger figured out her serve. She just gave up in that match. Hibino, she's a fighter. Every match I watch her play, she fights. Like, she's not one of those players who's gonna beat herself. She just doesn't have the physical tools, in my opinion, to be like a consistently strong server. So that's what I think generally ends up being her detriment in the end of matches, is that she doesn't necessarily have those physical tools. But as far as like effort, when you put money on a player, you always want them to show effort, and I just think that's what she's gonna do in her match. Martha, let's take a look at her previous past results. She's always playing 3 sets. Like 2028, 3-set matches. Like 3 sets. Like, so I could see Hibino taking a set in this match and then losing after, just because she's been in more form. She's already in Melbourne. She played 3 matches on court already. She knows court speed. Martha's gonna have to fly in from Adelaide. It's like an hour and a half flight. Fly in, practice on that court. Still, again, her third match since September. So that's something to keep in mind. Next, we're gonna go next match. Kamila Rakimova, Ludmila Samsonova. It's an interesting matchup because Samsonova is obviously the much better server than Rakimova. She retired in her last match against Keys. I believe here it says that the injury was. It didn't say anything for the injury. I don't think that she was injured. I watched the entire match. I think she was just embarrassed because she was up a set and she was serving in the second set to take a lead, and she went up 40-love, and then after that she got broken, and then she got broken to start set 3, and then somehow she just came up with an injury. Didn't look like anything happened to her. I'm not saying she's not injured, but even on the tennis reporting website, they're out of everyone I've seen in this, she's the only one where it's listing that they don't know what her injury was. But I don't think she got hurt. Okay. I think she just got embarrassed. Anyways, Rakimova, she's coming off the qualifier match to Wang. She's not a strong server at all. But she'll fight hard. You know, she's kind of like now Habino in the sense where she always plays hard in all her matches. She'll always give ultimate effort. Ultimate effort. You know, and the spread here for her is what? 5.5. 5.5 is interesting. Because so both of the matches between them in the past on grass and indoors have gone over. Okay. The total for today for the match is it's 19.5. So you're pretty much asking for like 6-4, 6-4. If Samsonova was not 100%, I don't see why she can't take a set off of her. You know, Rakimova's last 2 appearances at the Australian Open, first set 7-5. You know, first set 6-4, first set 7-5. So I would look at that first set over, or maybe just the over in the match in general. I like taking the over in matches when 2 players from the same country are playing each other, because generally you're familiar with their game. You generally practice with each other. You went to the same academies. So those matches generally end up being closer than people expect. So I would probably lean that way. If Samsonova was healthy, I would go with Samsonova to go through the next round, but I'm not 100% of what her status is. Next match, Arantas Rus. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. She's taking on Olga Danilovic. They have a split head-to-head 1-1. This is going to be an interesting matchup because Danilovic, she's coming off that bad loss to Maya Joint. Again, another one of those where I just think that she didn't show max effort in. Before that, she'd won 9 matches in a row. This is an interesting matchup because, you know, they're both left-handed players, and I love watching 2 lefties play each other because you don't really have an advantage. You have to just go out there and play your game. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, usually when a lefty player plays a righty player, I'll defer to the lefty. But this is Olga's second appearance here at Australian Open in the main draw. Previously, when she lost in the second round in 2021. That first round match, similar odds. That match went 3 sets. I think we could see something similar like that today. I wouldn't bet money on this match just because Rus is a player where, like, if she loses the first set, like, she's not gonna play anymore. Like, she's just gonna go through the motions and end up losing the match. You know, I'm looking at her last 10 matches here. You know, she's lost 6 out of her last 10 matches. All 6 of them ended in straight sets. Olga, before she lost to Maya Joint, she won 9 matches in a row, and all those matches ended in straight sets. So I'd have to go with Olga here. I trust her serve more. I trust her to just be so aggressive against Rus that she doesn't really know what to do. She struggles against players who are extremely aggressive. Hopefully Olga's aggressive tonight, but not too aggressive, because that can come back to bite her. Next match, we have Elise Mertens. She's taking on qualifier Victoria Golubic, who's playing out of Switzerland. Gulubic's an interesting player. You know, she's right-handed. She's the right-handed backhand, but her last 3 appearances here at the Australian Open, she's lost in the first round. She lost in the third round last year. but she's an interesting player because she has the ability to beat Elise, but she's just not consistent enough. And this is another of those 1.4, 2.5 lines where I think that Elise is going to drop a set. You know, Elise, she has to fly in from Elise has to fly in from Hobart yesterday. I'm not sure when she's going to play. If she's going to play today or tomorrow. I'm recording this video on Saturday. So she's to fly in after playing the final against Kessler yesterday. Gulabik, she's already been there. She's won 3 matches in qualifiers. She didn't drop a set at all through qualifiers. So I think she's going to be ready for this matchup. She lost her last times. Another one of those matches where you see someone loses, they lose in 3 sets. It was a competitive 6-4, 6-4 first 2 sets. And then they lose 6-1 in the 3rd set, which just tells me that they were just tired and they just gave up on the match. So I'm going to lean to Gulabik here. I can see another 3-set match here. Will she have enough to pull through after? Who's to say? Gun to my head, if I had to pick, I don't know. I would probably go with Gulabik. I just Elise, I don't know. I don't know what's up with her. I just can't trust Elise, you know. So if I had a gun in my head, I'd probably go with Gulabik. She's played here enough times. I mean, it just scares me though. What? She's played here 10 times? She's lost in the first round 6 out of those 10 times. Don't love that. Don't love that. Next match, we have Maya Joint, 18-year-old out of Australia. She's actually from Michigan. Or she was born in Michigan, but her family's from Australia. She's coming off that semifinal loss to Mertens. Mertens was the better player that day, and it is what it is. Pegula, she's coming out the final loss to Madison Keys. Similar situation to what I just described. You know, she lost the first set against Keys, won the second set, got broken in the first set, lost 6-1. I watched the whole match. She just didn't really show that much effort because she knew, like, I have to play a more important match in theory, in 48 hours in like a different city. I have to fly there, so I'm not going to fight for my life in this 3rd set when, you know, I have a more important match to play in a few days. So I don't think she's going to lose to Maya Joint. Who's to say if she's going to drop a set to her or not? But, you know, two out of 3 of Maya Joint's matches here at the Australian Open, they've gone 3 sets. I don't see Jess losing. Maybe the overall hit. You know, she hasn't lost. She's been to the Australian Open 7 times. She's made it to the quarterfinal or better 5 out of those 7 times. I believe she dropped a set once, and that was in 2013. So when she was 2013, she was 18 years old. And then she did again against Kalinina in 2022. But, I mean, 2023, all her matches, straight sets, win or loss. 2024, all matches, straight sets, win or loss. So I think it's going to be a straight set situation again. I think Maya Joint will give her a run for her money, though, but I don't see Jessica Pegula losing this match. But I wouldn't bet on it just because, again, I have a hard rule this year. Can't bet against players when they're playing in their home country. So, and there you have it, guys. Yeah, there you have it, guys. That is second video for Quad 2, the second part of the top bracket for the Australian Open women's draw. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Leave comments. Let me know what you'd like to see more, less. I'm going to cut these videos up and hopefully get some feedback. Oh, man. Anyways, I'm going to practice for my 3rd and 4th video looking more into the camera so you guys can feel like you're looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.